Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Ian Cameron. I'm the Marketing Director at Meech International. Today, we're going to talk about the new SmartControl Touch from Meech. I'm joined by Richard Walker, a Project Manager working on the SmartControl, and Ricardo Martinez, an Electronics Project Manager responsible for the development of SmartControl. Now, I obviously don't know much about it. Perhaps we could start, Richard, by just giving me a quick, brief overview of what SmartControl is, how it can be used within a company, that kind of thing.
Yes, thanks, Ian. Yeah, SmartControl Touch is a really exciting new product from Meech. We're really excited to bring it to market. Essentially, SmartControl Touch is a monitoring and control device used with connection to multiple Hyperion products, such as our pulse DC ionizing bars. From the beginning of the project, we wanted to make sure that this product was really easy and intuitive to use, requiring minimal training from the user. And it can be used across a wide range of applications where our bars are typically being used. So it's of use to lots of our customers. Examples could be flexo printing presses, food packaging, and it's all really about improving the performance and the productivity for our customers. So improving the ionization performance and making sure that their production process runs as smoothly and efficiently as possible.
Okay, so well, how would you need to use SmartControl, and how would it benefit you as an end user?
It would benefit you because you've basically got a one-stop place where you can view the performance of all those bars that would normally be connected independently. So rather than having to look at each individual bar to see what the performance is, you can see all of that from one easy to use interface. And we're seeing increasingly that also that a lot of the manufacturing industry now is moving over to Industry 4.0. So they're increasing the amount of interconnectivity with their data and their systems. So our device was designed from the beginning to implement well with Industry 4. And make sure that it's easy to implement with your existing machine and your networks.
Okay, so I'm guessing if it's Industry 4.0 ready and it's got all of this kind of up-to-date things and features on it, then it's going to be packed with features and benefits. Perhaps you could tell me some of the features and benefits.
Yeah, again,
some of the other products on the market.
Of course, yeah. Like I said earlier, at the beginning of the project, we wanted to make sure that this was very easy to use. It wouldn't be burdensome and take a lot of understanding and training to get people up and running. So it's literally a plug and play system. You literally plug your connected Hyperion bars to it, and you're ready to go. So the main features really are the easy to use intuitive touchscreen we've added. So it's a really nice large touchscreen, and you can see at a glance what's happening with all the connected devices. We've used color coding as well to see at a glance whether the bars are working optimally or whether they need some maintenance or whether there's a fault, for example. We've also added functionality so you can remotely monitor the performance. So if you weren't able to actually view the device itself, the SmartControl Touch, you could actually connect your mobile phone or your tablet to the local area network that will be connected to SmartControl. You could view it wherever you were within the factory, for example. You could see what's happening. And you could view and change any settings. Also, we've added to the device, we've added functionality with sensors as well, which are really important to us because the sensors then allow the bar to communicate with the sensor, to and fro the sensor. So you can basically monitoring the residual charge, for example, that's on the material you're trying to ionize. And if the bar needs to adjust the performance, it takes that data from that sensor, then automatically adjust the performance of the bar so that you get optimal ionization all the time and consistently. We've also added data logging, because we know obviously with Industry 4.0, data is one of the critical things as well that's being implemented, and data is really important. So you can download all the data logs that are recorded by SmartControl Touch. And this would mean that you could then, for example, predict when it needs maintenance. So over a period of days, you could view what the performance is of the bars, and then you could predict when they need cleaning, for example. In the past, you would have to look at individual bars, and it may mean that they're not cleaned as often as they should be, the performance might drop. But with this data, you can see at a glance what's happening over a period of time. We've also added the option to add PLC connectivity, which is another feature that's really important. So there's lots more, but those are some of the key ones that we've added.
Okay, so that's a lot about the kind of the features and what it can do, and the benefits that you're going to see inside about connectivity and being able to view it on screens and things like that. But what will there be kind of production or output benefits coming from the smart control as well? I mean, are people who buy this going to see improvements to their product?
They'll see improvements to their product in terms of product quality. So, for example, one of the examples I talked about was flexo printing. So that they could see improvements to product quality of that, the print quality. Also, safety as well is important, because for many applications, there's a risk to for fires or risk to electric shock to operators. So you can really make sure that those risks are minimized by using SmartControl Touch to really keep a tight control and monitor what's going on with the ionization. And we've seen some examples from customers that have already started using our system, where they've seen a big reduction in the amount of maintenance they have to do, downtime of their equipment, by keeping the ionization very tightly controlled using SmartControl Touch. They've increased the distance between time distance between having to do any maintenance, which brings immediate financial benefits to those customers.
It's more efficient production.
Yes, absolutely.
I think another feature which is a good to mention as well. Well, Richard mentioned it already, is the data logging functionality. So the data logging allows the customer to plan ahead particular tasks in their production line. For example, cleaning the bars and looking at how often they may need to do it. So it will allow them to give a little bit of flexibility, or potentially to look at the future and plan ahead, looking at the data which is being logged by the system as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So Ricardo, staying with you, I mean, obviously you're going to have the SmartControl Touch, and that's going to be fitted. Yep. I mean, are the customer going to have to buy new bars need to be purchased in order for the SmartControl to be compatible? I mean, how does it work with the existing equipment we've got?
Well, we have the advantage of the new bars is that they will have a software which is already enhanced to be fully compatible with the SmartControl. So the advantage is that by having this new software, it will allow them to have full control of all of the single parameters within the bars. And then we have decided that at some point from Meech to be basically shipping out all the bars with this new software update. So the customer will be just, as Richard mentioned earlier, it will be just a matter of plug and play, and they can use all the to have an open door to the full potential of the SmartControl connectivity.
Okay, and so at the moment this is all the Hyperion range, and moving
Correct.
Forward.
Yes.
Okay, so moving forward, what does the future bring for the product? Will there be any other updates? Are we changing things? What are we looking to do in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we have a very, it's a very good question. We have a very exciting, a very, feature of the product itself. We're looking into adding more bars from the Hyperion range. Also to add some of the latest generators, for example, the IC30 and IC50 to the offering of the SmartControl. And then obviously we would like to have the option to be expandable to well-known industrial protocols. And this is the addition of the Meech2 PLC option, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And this is basically to allow the system to be connected to networks, PLC networks. They have different languages in the industry, for example, Ethernet IP or Profinet, which are very well known established protocols. So SmartControl will be the opening gate for the range of the Hyperion bars into more complex systems as well. So yes, it's a very exciting future ahead.
So SmartControl really is it's the start of this big development that's going on for a lot of the Meech products to be all connected and have a similar interface.
Yes, indeed. That's the main goal, and that's the target for this very exciting future.
Brilliant. So when someone's going to go and purchase the smart control, they're going to get what are they going to get? They're going to get the unit. They're going to get what's included.
What's included with SmartControl Touch when you buy it, you get the SmartControl Touch on its own, and then you have the option to add, for example, the sensors I mentioned, the distance sensor and the voltage sensors, and also we have a range of different cables that you need. So we're not saying you need to buy all of those at the beginning, but you get the unit by itself, and then you would add sensors if you needed them, and obviously like the bars that Ricardo talked about as well, that would need to be purchased as well. So you determine what you need at the beginning, and then you would order those from us. Also, the unit is a 24-volt unit, so it runs off a 24-volt power supply. That can be purchased through Meech, or perhaps maybe the customer may have their own 24-volt supply on the equipment they are connecting it to. So it can be either purchased separately, or it can be they can use their own source of power. It does need a 4-amp 24-volt supply though, and it also must be grounded as well if they're using their own supply.
Okay, I mean that sounds kind of building up and everything else. I mean, what Ricardo, maybe you could pick this one up. What support is available for anything technical? Obviously, this is a relatively new product for Meech, with something we haven't seen in the market before. I mean, is there, and especially with what's going on this year in terms of COVID and people not being in the workplace, I mean, what is there going to be support for technical issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we want to go hand by hand with the customer initially. I mean, we offer online support with the well-known means that we're using at the moment, such as Teams or Zoom, as we're doing right now. Also, as well, I mean, this will allow just a clear, direct contact with the customer at any given point during installation or during any particular issue they may have or questions as well. And also we need to remind them that as normal, the customer support is available at their local Meech representatives or distributors as well. So that's another option as well.
Okay, perfect. So questions will be able to be answered and people will be able to get help when they need it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Wonderful. Just a couple of quick questions then. So from what you've been saying, how many, you obviously got the smart control, you're going to connect other Meech products to it. How many devices called bars can be connected up to a single smart control? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we have two different options really, or we have up to 6 different devices or Meech equipment that can be connected to the smart control. I say that because I'm talking about the combination between bars and sensors. So for instance, you can have on the SmartControl Touch unit, you have 6 direct ports that can be a combination of bars and sensors. And then we have expansion hubs, and those expansion hubs are giving us an extra addition of 12 ports per hub. And then the smart control can support up to 2 hubs. So this is giving us a very wide offering of up to 30 devices in combinations, again, between bars and sensors. So it's a very, generous offering from the control point of view, and you can have different modes of operation within the smart control as a feedback, for example. So you can have different sensors harvesting data for a particular bar in the process, and then all working together within this up to 30 different bars and generators and sensors as well. So yeah, the answer is up to 30.
So it's going to
Iain, can I just add to that one? Just one thing that I didn't mention is that the Smart Control Touch also powers all the connected devices, as well as being connected to them. It's actually powering them as well. So it has that.
It will power all 30.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, brilliant.
So the extension hubs will each need their own power supply, though. They're not powered. The extension hubs are not powered by the main Smart Control Touch. They each have their own separate 4-amp 24-volt. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So I mean, I'm guessing from that 30 separate pieces of equipment being able to connect up, and we're covering a huge spectrum of applications in that array. So hopefully it covers most people's needs.
Indeed.
Just one final question, Ricardo, Richard. I mean, you mentioned about the Mix2 PLC earlier. Can you just elaborate on that a bit and explain about how that fits in with the smart control?
Yes, I mean, we talked about the future a little bit, and I think Meech2 PLC is definitely a future for us. Mix2 PLC is essentially an optional module that allows the connectivity of the smart control to well-established industrial networks. As we all know, when we go into a plant, for instance, or of any kind of industry, there is already some equipment in there which has been running for some time. So the idea is that we can integrate to those systems in a way that it will allow a PLC to control the bars as well. And the ability, or basically, it will give us this entry point to those systems, and then it will allow the PLC can access the different values from the bars, different parameters, and then they can be all integrated into this overall structure of a plant, for example. So yeah, Meech2 PLC is an optional module that, depending on the network, is going to be deployed. We have different options. We have, for example, Ethernet IP, if it's required to go into that sort of network. So we have also the well-known Profibus, which has been running for years, or we have the quite new protocols as well, which is a Profinet. If when we go into the industry, there are there is a list of different protocols. Why? Because different PLCs, they use different their own protocols. So the industry, that you can find a list of different different options. So what we want to do is with the Meech2 PLC is to give an initial entry point of the most popular 5 protocols, which are Modbus TCP, Ethernet IP, we have Profinet, we have Profibus, and we have EtherCAT. So those protocols will give us a wider portion of the industry right now. So yes, that's pretty much what we're trying to do, to integrate to those networks, looking into the industry 4.0 that Richard mentioned earlier as well. So looking into the future of that is very exciting.
Wow, yeah, I mean, it sounds absolutely brilliant, and it's a new kind of product from Meech. It goes away from the bars and different thing we do, and it's a very exciting project for everyone to get involved in and be. So thanks very much, guys, for joining us and answering a few questions. I just want to say that if anybody does need any more information on SmartControl or SmartControl Touch or anything else, then please get in touch with the Meech head office, or go to our website, which is www.meech.com. Other than that, it just leaves me to say, Richard, Ricardo, thanks very much. Great to have your time. And if anyone has any questions, please get in touch with us. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.